Hey, yo, what's good, gang? It's your boy Luminati15, and you have just tuned in to DPG TV, Talk That Shit podcast. You know the fucking vibes. And tonight's subject is an update on what's been going viral for the past couple hours. Everybody's seen it, everybody's heard it. The world is going into a bit of a frenzy. Everybody's saying that, Kai quit streaming. So I feel like I have to speak on this because at the end of the day, Kai is a very influential individual within the streaming space, which I'm trying to break into. Right now, we are sitting at 2.4 million views on YouTube. I am trying to pick up Talk That Shit podcast again for this year, but to the subject at hand with Kai, I feel like this is going to be a good and a bad for the space because at the end of the day, Kai is a very influential figure within the streaming community. He is one of the three kings, as I call them. His kingdom is technically Twitch, and then you have the king of YouTube, which is between Speed and Mr. Beast. But Mr. Beast isn't really a streamer, he's a content creator. And then you have over at Kick, Aiden Ross and individuals like Neon. So what does it mean for Twitch now that Kai is stepping down? And I'm saying stepping down because I don't feel like Kai is quitting. I feel like Kai might be taking some time to himself to chase some like ventures in his life. He does seem and feel like maybe he has reached his max potential as a streamer. And he feels like, all right, I've done what could be done here in streaming. How can I move forward to other lanes? Watching Kai these past couple years, I have noticed that he has a high respect for individuals in fashion like Kanye. And I don't blame him, bro. Me as a man and as an individual, I don't feel like one should be boxed into one lane. So I respect that from Kai. I respect that he's willing to go all the way to do what's right for him and his team. So what does it mean that Kai's stepping down? I feel like it's a good thing for small creators because, to be honest, a lot of individuals, when Kai got on, everybody's viewership went down. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I don't want to sound like a hater, but it does feel nice to now kind of have an equal opportunity to get a piece of the pie, even though we're still going to have to, compete against AMP, Phantom, Agent Double O, Duke, and, the Clover Boys. But I'm not going to hold you. There are going to be a lot of haters that are going to jump out and be like, oh, well, maybe he's just pivoting because, they were investigating streamers and botting and all this other shit. So I'm like, that could be a possibility, and maybe things are just getting too hot. But I don't feel like Kai fit into that category because I feel like, for the most part, Kai's viewership organic. A lot of us gravitated to him. A lot of us fucked with what he was doing. And I don't feel like Kai had any need to bot anything or buy views or whatever. He's always been organic. I've seen some of his early work when he was back in high school with Ron Suno. So he's always had it in him to content create. And he just switched lanes. He went from YouTube to Instagram to Twitch. And, Twitch was like the big boom. For the small creators, it might mean more leeway for us to capture now a very large group of people that now are going to be missing their favorite content creator. But at the same time, my main question is, this is going to put a lot of the people that Kai put in the spotlight now to see if they can stand on their own 2 feet without Kai in the scene, right? And that's going to include Ray, Rakai. Ty Lil kind of had his own thing before Kai, but Kai had to step in after the the situation with Tariq that happened on his show with his sister. So he kind of had to like put him under his wing, be like, yo, come this way. You need to get away from your family. I understand you love them, but you know, they're doing too much right now and it's causing your brand a lot of damage. He put on Punga, which he's actually gonna be next week, although this Friday, he's gonna be in the Bronx hosting a party with my boy DJ Danny. Shout out to him and Jay John. And then Reggie. So my question, I feel like it's gonna impact his inner circle and it's gonna challenge them to now kind of fight for their spot. You know what I'm saying? We always knew that they had a co-sign from Kai. Kai said they were cool, but now that Kai isn't here for these big projects, will they be able to keep their viewership? Will they be able to still be consistent? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they kind of like followed behind Kai, but Kai opened a lot of doors and held a lot of doors open for them. Perfect example was Ty Lil at the BET Awards last year. The way they treated him was very fucking awful. But when Kai came into the picture and he stepped up, everybody kind of backed down. They stopped treating him like shit. So will they be able to break and get that same type of respect without Kai in the picture? Now, I feel like this is mostly going to affect Ray and Rakai because Ray is a little unfiltered, right? And I love Ray. His content is hilarious. He always has me laughing, but he does now have to think twice of his actions. So does Rakai, because Rakai's been bugging out since like November. If Kai's no longer in the picture, I don't think Kai's gonna be able to step in for him with the Twitch higher ups and kind of plead a case for him and tell him to kind of like give him a slap on the wrist 2 weeks and then he'll be back. And then the kind of mystery, you know, wild card, Tota as well. Tota was picking up a lot of traction. Then some negative stuff came up online talking about he was dating a minor or whatever. But I'm no one to judge because his culture is his culture. If the age of consent is 16 in Brazil, who the fuck am I to judge? I follow the bystanders and the laws of my country. I'm an American, so that's not okay here in America. And he's not doing it in America. He's doing it in his home country. As long as he's not dating any minors over here, you cool beans, my boy. And I know a lot of people's not gonna like that, but oh well, you know what I'm saying? Those are the laws of the world. Deal with it. But it really brings into question, will Kai's clique, his proteges, his disciples, as I call them, will they be able to hold their own without, you know, they man in the picture? Kai, the last time we saw him was his breakup with Gigi. And then before that, he took like a really long break after Mafia Don 3 at the end of September. And we did see little bits and pieces of him, you know, touring around Europe. But come to find out, he was actually in Italy learning about fashion, fabrics, how to sew, how to stitch, how to design, and stuff like that, which is super cool. Now, to that point, I feel like Kai should be reaching out to some of these big heads and big individuals that he had on his stream, right? And respectfully and honestly, I feel like Kai's best bet and his most shocking situation is going to be collaborate. If I was him, I would collab with Yeezy, but I would have to make sure that there are some clause and some legal situations on paper that would have to be put into play to keep him in line. Because at the end of the day, we do know that Kai does always push God first, and he cannot have any of that anti-Semitic stuff around him. It could cost him business. It could cost him his fan base. But I do feel like the best person to go to for mentorship when it comes to clothing is Yeezy. Yeezy knows what it's like to be Kai. Yeezy knows what it's like to deal with pressure. Yeezy knows what it's like to want to do something and want to be able to put in the work, go to these different places, learn from these different people. We saw his evolution go from working with LV to Nike and then Adidas. So I feel like that's something that can definitely benefit Kai, you know, behind private doors. And then respectfully, all them people that you put on your stream, gang, it's time to start calling favors back. You know what I'm saying? Tit for tat. When your shit drop, pull up to Kim K. Pull up to Northwest. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you had them on stream plenty of times, show them mad love. Yo, Kim, I need you to do me a favor. Here's a fit for you in North. Wear that. Boom. We know his clique's gonna do it, but I feel like with that type of transaction, it's really gonna show Kai who really was there just to eat off his plate, and who was really there just straight out of faith and love and respect for what he does and what he's done for the world and the community of streaming. So I just want to wish Kai, a lot of luck on that venture, because I know it's not easy to get comfortable doing something, knowing that you're good at something and want to do something else, whether if it's because you're bored or you just feel like your time has come, or you no longer have it in you anymore. You feel like all the accolades that you set for yourself have been met. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do something new. And respectfully, if people walk away from you, then, that's in God's hands. That's for God to show you who's really there for you and who's not. You know what I'm saying? I went through it last year myself in 2025 on my birthday. I hit that reset button, surrounded myself by positive people. And y'all see me now, man. 2 million plus views later. And I feel that this is going to be a new chapter for Kai. I hope that Kai stays true to his fan base. I saw a video earlier where he was mentioning brands like LV, Balenciaga, where he feels like, when you start your own brand, some people want to be like, oh, but it's missing this, or you didn't go this way. And you feel like brands like Balenciaga and Louis V, they don't have to go through that because there's a set stamp already of approval. That might be true, my brother, but at the end of the day, you also have to remember that when you step into this fashion game, you can't turn your back on the people that made you. And if you go off and try to do something on the rate or the level of Balenciaga and LV, a lot of the followers that follow you and made you who you are aren't going to be able to obtain your clothing or your creation of fashion. So please be very careful with that. I'm not telling you to drop a Walmart merch drop, but please be very mindful of the track that you choose to go to, or the lane that you choose to play on when it comes to fashion. Because the thing I hate most is to see people get built up and to see people, get notoriety. And then when it's time to make merch, or it's time to like put out a product to the world, it goes totally against the fan base that created them. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's the biggest slap in the face in the world. But, you know what I'm saying? On that note, I just hope that Kai really finds his niche and his lane in fashion, because he deserves it. This man is an icon in the streaming world. His name and his face will forever be immortalized in the Mount Rushmore of streaming. And I hope and only pray that one of his disciples be the ones to surpass him. Most likely Ty Lil. I feel like Ty Lil has the most potential. And I wish luck to the Clover Boys, because if y'all had it, he made it possible. And now the training wheels is off, and it's now time to see who can walk on their own feet. You know what I'm saying? I know Ty Lil got it. Ray has it. Ray showed it to us. Ray got put on by Kai. He won his first streamer award. At Mafiathon, he already showed that he did a collaboration with Adidas. He had his own merch out already. By the time Mafiathon came out, Kai wore his shit to show him love when he reached 1 million subs. So Ray definitely can hold his own. He's just going to have to be a little more selective and a more tactical and decisive about his choices. And let's see where that leaves us, man. This is definitely going to leave a bigger piece of the pie for small streamers to kind of come in and feel like they have a fair chance of gaining some notoriety. We no longer have to, figure out when Kai's not streaming to see if we can get some views and some followers before, all the viewership goes to the biggest dude on the platform. But I hope that he wins on his next venture. And my brother, stay strong, stay positive, stay with God first. And you know what I'm saying? Godspeed. It's your boy Luminati15. I'm out of here, and I'll catch you guys later.